name is Enrique and I'm going to talk about the novel The Little Prince. The story is narrated by the pilot, who is an adult that has some difficulty being understood with his related ones. One day in a solitary flight, his plane fails and he lands off in the Sahara Desert when he meets the Little Prince, a child from another planet, which dimensions are very tiny. Then the Little Prince asks the pilot to draw him a lamp, this in order to return him to his planet. Soon the Little Prince and the pilot get to know each other and they become friends. The Little Prince then starts to describe his life to the pilot, telling him about his odysseys and all the reasons why he made them. A very powerful one is because of a rose, and this rose is the most beautiful flower he has ever seen, and it changes his life, his perception, and it is the one he is falling in love with. In his journey, he travels to different worlds. In each of them, he meets a new character that taught him something valuable about life. Some of the characters are the king, the vain man, the drunkard, the businessman, the lamplighter, the geography, the railway switchman, the sales clerk, among others. At the end, he finally reaches Earth, place where he meets the snake and the fox, characters that establish a special linking with the Little Prince. He learns from them very special concepts. At the end, the pilot achieves to repair his plane, and the Little Prince is beaten by the snake. This because it was the only way that he could return home. His purpose was to care of the flower. Then the pilot is left with a doubt that if the lamp he draws is going to eat or not the flower. Words, it awakes our creativity. It provokes that you uncover the points of life with a simple and understandable language. All of this, if you pay attention, is expressed in metaphors, and the metaphors come from the different characters that we have already talked, like the king, the businessman, the sales clerk, the drunkard. By converging with the audience with the points of adherence, bringing them to their happiest and important memories in order to recover the spiritual creed we all have, emerging your pure nobility. It's about a novel. Well, most people would think that The Little Prince is a story for children, but more than children, it has a very deep sentimental meaning, and philosophical too. What the author is looking for is to uncover the truth in the ordinary life. He remarks through the characters and in the use of metaphors the importance of life and relationships. The audience is expected to be reflected in a mirror, so that they remember how it's like to be a child. This odyssey will expose topics like friendship, loneliness, love, sadness, and richness. It is written so that the audience converges with those meaningful people with our roots. Even if the path turns difficult, it impulses us to change our attitude, behavior, and the way of seeing things, of appreciating them, enjoying them, but mostly to look at the irrelevant sometimes.
Now we're going to talk about the bad aspects. A curious fact about the novel Le Petit Prince is that it was first published in French and English, but it was first read by the English-speaking countries. French people were able to read it just after the author died. Also, when analyzing reviews, interpretation, studies, etc., you find out that there's not at least one who speaks about the bad aspects of the book. As we all know, Le Petit Prince is a cultural icon all around the world, especially in Western countries. You may see people with iconic phrases of the book tattooed in their bodies, such as "It does not look good with the heart," "The essential is invisible to the eyes." And this is not a problem. The real problem here is how people make money with something really beautiful, really innocent, and converts it in something really banal and really selfish. The biggest mistake done by people is thinking that it's actually a children's book, while it's not. Children can barely understand what is going on in this book. Children doesn't know how deep is the book, and adults just consider it a really childish book, so there's no balance in it. Adults, they just don't take the time to understand its symbology. Likewise, the symbology is so hermetic that it lends itself to an excess freedom to understand it. In the other side, the young character of the Little Prince also presents certain deficiencies. We don't know what's inside him, what does he think, but he only tells us about his trips, each one more unpredictable and extravagant. In his trips, he meets characters with unique characteristics, but the writer is unable to develop empathy for them. Finally, we conclude that the book is perfect for people of certain age and forward, while the movie is not. It's adapted for audience of every age. Finally, the book is perfect for people with certain age and forward, while the movie is not. It's adapted for viewers of every age. In the book, we find out a story where most people cannot understand, but anyone can relate to it. It is a story that takes time to get it. Talking about the aesthetics, the book and the movie made a great work. The drawings and the effects in the movie are something just lovely to watch in the big screen and see in a book page. The book is perfect for people who are really emotional because it lets you open your heart and makes you feel nostalgic, and also it may make a change in how you see your life.